Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Bunny Carpenter, who is here on behalf of GRF. Well, hi, Bunny. How are you?
Hi, Lisa. How are you today?
Good, good. It's been a little while, but now I know you've got some good updates for us and, kind of all over the map. You've got lots of different stuff.
There's a lot going on,
Well,
as there always is with GRF.
I know, but you know what?
A lot
That's
going
good. At
on.
least you guys are never bored.
Yes. But the first thing that I just want to give everyone an update on, we just finished our Code of Ethics policy.
Mhm.
And then now we are working on the harassment policy, which is now being reviewed by the legal counsel.
Mhm.
And it has been one of my goals as a board member to encourage harassment policy by all boards that are fair to both the employees, residents, and the directors. And GRF is the last board to create one.
Oh,
So once this policy is approved by the GRF board, we will meet with the other boards to make sure that these policies do not conflict with each other.
mhm.
So, and this has been taking almost 2 years, and I'm sorry that I was dragging my feet. But it isn't about the law that is confusing to all, but the process of enforcement.
Mm.
And that I am confident that all boards are on the same page at this point in time, which is really great. It's an accomplishment for us.
Well, it's good to have that in place no matter where you are, just because you just never know, something strange could happen. And then you're like, well, what do you do? So I think that's a really good idea to clarify just how it works if you are ever in that situation.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well,
we just
good. Well,
have,
thank you for working on that. Even though it's taken a while, at least you're making progress.
yes, we are. Thank
Now,
you.
yes, yeah, that's good. It's good. So broadband group, lots has been changing there. We've had new people come in and positions have changed. Well, what are you looking at?
Well, we were looking at a lot at the broadband group. Everyone knows that, within 10 years, okay, we're not going to be looking at the same setup that we have for TV
Mhm,
um, that will happen in 10 years. So we have to prepare for that,
mhm,
okay? So we've already had a study which was done by this company called the Broadband Group, which is giving us a roadmap as to what we need to do, within the next few years in order to work into that all streaming industry.
mhm,
So this company that we are about to hire and will be reviewed by the communications committee
mhm.
is this. It's going to give us an overview study and review the village broadband systems. So as I talked about, what are we going to look like in 10 years? How do we move into the future? And there will be more and more streaming that will be cost effective to our residents. Even now, and I don't know if the residents know about it or not, but even now, some of the costs of streaming is a lot less than what our community can offer them. So people are beginning to do some of this streaming.
Right. Do you find the majority of your friends, do they not have cable and they're going with a streaming service with a smart TV?
Most of us have smart TVs now. So we go into Netflix, with Prime Video, that's Amazon. That's one of the two big ones that I see. Um,
Exactly.
I'm not a sports fan, but those are the two that I watch.
Yeah, sometimes the smart TVs come with all these stations now, but most of them are pre-recorded, not so much live. But you could always pay for something separate if you wanted. But it's kind of a pain because you have to go to the main menu and then you have to scroll over and click on this. It's kind of takes you like 5 minutes just to get to where you want to be.
Well, you should have seen me yesterday. The batteries ran out of the remote, in order to do that.
Yeah.
So you put the batteries back in the remote, and I didn't know that I had to pair it again.
Oh,
So if you can imagine what I went through to figure out that I had to pair it again. So,
well, I know we just put the batteries in and think it's going to work right away.
right. Didn't.
No, I hear you. That's always crazy. Now, what is an IT steering advisory committee? What is that?
Well, we just established that. We haven't started meeting yet because what we're doing at this point in time is gathering all kinds of information. Now, Jim Hopkins is the chair for that, okay? And this is basically a continuation from the software research group, and which had to become a GRF committee basically because GRF pays for it and is responsible for it. So we're gathering all kinds of information. Our equipment is really, really old. And of course, the malware situation prompted that we really need to make a change.
Yeah.
So by July, we're looking at this committee starting to meet and research systems that we can, to take the place, of what we have right now. And I always appreciate Chuck because he does such a wonderful job at this. The one ever losing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to know regarding the software for sure. So I think that's a good way to go. Okay, so let's talk about budget reviews. Seems like everybody is having a budget review, and you're looking at capital expenditures for GRF. Right.
Well, GRF usually has the most capital expenditures than the other two boards. And so this year, we are taking the time to review every single item and to figure out, whether it's something we need or whether there's another alternative. Okay. So it's really important to get a handle on our expenses, because if we don't, in the next 10 years, it will really hurt our reserves. So I really appreciate what Jim is doing, Jim Hopkins. He's really looking at that 5-year plan and how we can get there, and the steps we have to take to get there. And nobody wants to hear that with all the money that we get, for GRF, that we have to be so careful of how we spend our money.
Well, exactly. I mean, especially if you were looking at improvements. I mean, this is an old environment. You've got a lot of updates you have to do. And the way prices are going, I mean, lumber alone, I couldn't believe how expensive it's been. So, if you have to repair something that's going to require wood, it could be twice the cost. Right.
And we will be looking at, some of those things, because they want to look at this year, especially want to look at building E. And that's where, I don't know if everybody is aware, that's where landscaping is and security is. That building is old.
Yeah.
And we need to do something. So we're basically looking at a lot of alternatives and to make it more pleasant also for the employees. We want them to enjoy working here.
Well, exactly. You don't want to dread coming into an office that's fallen apart.
I know.
That wouldn't be so great. Now, one thing I'm super excited about is that the Equestrian Center is going to be opening soon, which is great news. They've got so many wonderful programs over there.
I am continually being excited about what's happening over there. And this last week, Brian Gunner, Recreation, he said that we will open it up in July. Okay. And so I think everybody is aware that the Saddle Club always gives these barbecues every summer. And so this year, we will be able to have the first day, the Saddle Club will be sponsoring their first barbecue in August. And
Okay.
then we'll have another one in October.
Nice.
September, not October,
Right.
September.
Okay, so August and September.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
going to be limited to 50 people. So I'm telling them now, I want my ticket.
Well, yeah, everyone's going to want to get in on that. I mean, it's an opportunity to go somewhere and do something.
Right. And it's outdoors and they have a little band and they play bingo, and it's a real pleasant outdoor event.
Oh, that's great.
So the other thing that is so great is Sue Hamburger. She's with the Equestrian Center, and she's not an employee. She's I don't even know if she's a boarder, but she's participated in our ad hoc committee, and she's led the program for Help the Herd. And the donations reported to date is $8,255.
That's great.
And so it would just take too long to talk about all the things that they've done with that money, but they've done a lot of things. They're cleaning up the stalls.
Right.
So I just want to add one thing: as soon as the Equestrian Center opens, the Saddle Club is sponsoring tours, so you will be able to go on a tour. They will let you see a horse. They will show you what we're doing, what's been going on. And I just think that it'll be very exciting for everybody that enjoys the horse in the stables.
Yeah.
Oh, we got new horses too.
Yeah, you got new horses in the stables, which is awesome. And then you also mentioned that because everything's going so well over there, they just might need to hire more people.
Well, they're making money. With the new manager, they created some new services that the boarders really, really needed, that they were using for volunteers,
Okay.
And the volunteers, have gone, their separate ways. You can't get them as much as you do.
Right.
So anyway, they offered these services, and it has gone so well, that they're saying, we've got to hire another person. And they've added another feeding. They've had, for people to be able to walk around the horses and just different types of services. But I think the main thing was the third feeding, for each of the horses. I'm sure that our audience doesn't really know what I'm talking about there, but that was a very important addition to those boarders.
Oh, that's good. That's great. Now, in closing, I understand that you guys are hiring a recruitment task force for the boards.
We're establishing a recruitment task force, and this has never been done before, okay? And I think it's so important that we reach out, we've got 18,000 residents, but we need to find another avenue to be able to reach out to all those people other than our circle of friends.
Yeah.
To be on our board, because I really like the GRF board, and of course I'm going to brag about that. But we have really good business minds and people that really care about our community that are on the boards. And so we do need a variety of people that have backgrounds, like finance is a great background to have. Software, really going to need that because we're looking at this new ERP system, and the directors, and I just really have to state this right now because I don't want there to be any confusion as what a director does. We do oversight. So in order to do effective oversight, it helps to have a background in the field that we are performing for the oversight.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, so I'm gonna I've got all my ducks in order, okay, and so in the next week I'm gonna be trying to schedule an organization meeting so that we can figure out just how we want to proceed. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You never know. And in fact, there might even be ways for you to reach out to some of the new people that are moving in too. Maybe they've recently retired from a position that obviously that you mentioned in finance or software or something like that. So that's a great idea. Well, thank you so much, Bunny. I appreciate you taking the time.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
And you
We'll
have
see you
a
next
great day.
time. You
All
too.
right. All right. Bye.
And we'll be right back after this.